Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Hill. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card. So in our first fight, we got in the welterweight division, Takashi Sato versus Themba Gorimbo, and how I feel about this one right here is going low confidence Takashi Sato. I feel like Themba Gorimbo is your typical EFC fighter. A lot of good physique, good build, but lacking the skill and the technique. I don't see no true technique on the feet, not saying no true technique on the ground, not saying that he don't have none, but I don't see UFC caliber, elite caliber striking, elite caliber grappling. I also see that fact that he's kind of chinny on as well, so it's not a good look for him. I think Takashi Sato has had a bad bad streak in the UFC because he has gone there with some of the better fighters, that grappled him. And again, Themba Gorimbo hasn't shown me no real good technique or no elite or notable technique, so Sato at least has shown me to look like a good, clean fighter that deserves to be in the UFC, at least before his first fight in the UFC or before his first loss in the UFC. Regardless, I just think Sato's a more polished fighter. And again, I don't think Gorimbo has any real true, clean, polished skills on his, in his game. So I think Gorimbo will come out here probably a lot of intensity in the first round and then get sniped in the second round and stopped in the second round. So in this one, I got Takashi Sato via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, we got Victoria Leonardo versus Natalia Silva. And how I feel about this one, I say how I feel about this one is lock confidence Natalia Silva to beat Victoria Leonardo. Easiest fight on this card to predict until something crazy happens, like an injury or Leonardo eats a magic mushroom and she turns in there 6 feet, 9 feet tall and stomps out Natalia Silva. But yeah, I just think Natalia Silva, the better striker, the better grappler, and that's as simple as it is. Simple and clean. That's how I feel about the fight. I think Natalia Silva going to take the path of least resistance, and I feel like she'll be able to be the smoother, cleaner, more technical striker and pick her apart on the feet. Maybe defend some takedowns, maybe take advantage of some grappling situations, but I think she gets it done on the feet. Again, I think that's the path of least resistance and probably the least exhausting. Grappling's exhausting. Striking can be exhausting, but not nearly as much as grappling. So I just see her more so just canceling out Leonardo's grappling and picking her apart on the feet. And I think she puts her away second round. So in this one, I have Natalia Silva via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Chase Hooper versus Nick Fury. Not Fiore, Fury. So Chase Hooper versus Nick Fury. And to cut to the chase, I just feel like Nick Fury just hasn't shown me nothing yet. Like, you kind of look at the Rebecca fight. Well, he made it to a decision on short notice with Rebecca. But I just think that, he has solid enough grappling skills that held him in the fight. It's not like Rebecca is a great striker either, or great necessarily all-around finish, like no great take you down, ground and pound you, or knock you out on the feet type dude. Sloppy on the feet for the most part with Rebecca. Pretty powerhouse on top of you once he take you down. But again, Fury has the grappling skills to keep him within the fight, and that's what he did. And he wasn't even able to take advantage of a tired Rebecca later in like the second and third round. So like, and all in all, he really impressed me. He did okay. On short notice, he did okay, but he didn't show nothing phenomenal in that fight. And Chase Hooper, in this dog spot for Chase Hooper, I say my confidence, I'm going, low confidence Chase Hooper here to beat Nick Fury. Chase Hooper is like 2 years younger, two young guys right here. And I feel like Chase Hooper has fought better competition overall and, been more tested than Nick Fury. And I think it's definitely the spot where you will lean to Chase Hooper, especially as a dog against a guy who has not even really proven nothing at all. Matter of fact, a guy who has literally proven nothing. All speculation. The best thing he did was hold on and just use his BJJ to keep him in the fight, or to not allow himself to get pounded out or tapped out, basically. So yeah, I think Chase Hooper should be able to win this one. I think he'll be able to outwork him, outgrind him. I see this definitely a footsie type fight. Both of these guys scrambling, rolling around on the ground, switching positions. But I think Chase Hooper is going to have a little bit more dog in him. Use that experience against higher level competition and be able to outwork Fury when it matters. So in this one, I have Chase Hooper via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, we got Ilir Latifi versus Rodrigo Nascimento. And how I feel about this one right here is I'm going Rodrigo Nascimento about average confidence to beat Ilir Latifi. Latifi's getting up there in age. His power did not translate over to the heavyweight division. And a smaller guy, stockier guy. And again, the power didn't translate on it. Wrestling still should be a advantage for him even at this point. But I think a real big factor is the fact that Latifi, he's kind of on the fence with retirement. Like, he just retired and he came out of retirement. He don't know what he want to do. And that's never a good look. You're already up there in age. And now you're like teetering on whether you want to beat him or not. It's not like he's some super phenomenal fighter. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. He's a good fighter, but he's not no phenomenal fighter. Like, oh, this guy could, he could play around a little bit at the top level and still be among the best. Ilir Latifi not that dude. He's not that dude that like you can play around and still pick up big wins or will still pick up wins, at a competitive level in your respective weight class. He's not that guy, I don't think. So I think Rodrigo Nascimento, with only 30 years old, he took a bad loss, but he at some point in his career, still only one loss on his record. But yeah, still a young guy, still improving. He's hungry. He wants to win. So I'm gonna lean Nascimento to get a decision victory over Latifi. I don't think Nascimento had that much steam on his hands. And I already said that Latifi, his power ain't really translate to the heavyweight division. He ain't dropped nobody at heavyweight yet. Really ain't notably hurt no one at heavyweight yet with his power. For the most part, he's been taking people down and holding them. That's about the best he could do right now in heavyweight. I think Nascimento's BJJ and his size should help him to avoid being laid on and work back to standing. And then maybe working the clinch. And this really just looked to outwork Latifi. Probably, a clinch fest from both guys trying to battle for position. But Nascimento probably landing cleaner shots, in between the grappling and in between the clinching. And just simply outworking and winning it more than Latifi. So in this one, I had Rodrigo Nascimento via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division. We have Orion Koski versus Gilbert Ubrina, and got this low confidence in Orion Koski to beat Gilbert Ubrina. When I look at Gilbert Ubrina, he's coming down to welterweight. Hasn't fought a long time. I know he probably fought at welterweight at some point in his career, maybe even most of his career, but then he was at middleweight on The Ultimate Fighter, and then it's been like a year or two since he last fought. It's not like he's the most technical striker, most technical grappler. He just a guy that, wants to fight, wants to scrap. He not really saying truly polished grappling or truly polished striking. Not a specialist in this area, not a specialist in this area, but he's a specialist in scrapping. That's about it. So he's just a guy that goes out there fight. I think Koski just a more complete, more polished fighter. He's giving him a bit of height and giving him a bit of reach. A lot of height actually, 6'3" versus 5'11". But along with the height, I think Koski would be better adjusted for the weight class, even though he missed weight and whatnot. I'm sticking with my prediction. That's another reason. Like, I can see the fact that he missed weight and whatnot, but I'm not changing my initial prediction. I'm going second round Koski via TKO. I think, again, Ubrina has been inactive, coming down to welterweight, going with a guy who's been active at welterweight. Ubrina hasn't really shown to consistently do well beyond the first round. If anything, it's like a bad thing beyond the first round. And you can say the same for Koski, but luckily on his side, he's been active and he's coming off a fight where he has went the distance. So that's going to favor him as well. And I don't think that weight cut's going to affect him too much. If anything, it might allow him to come in a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. Whereas Ubrina going to be sucked out from making the weight class. I think Koski's going to look to try to impose his will and size on him, ground and pound him and stuff. Stand him out the first round and TKO him in the second. It's really smothering him and get him out second round. So in this one, I have Orion Koski via second round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the women's strawweight division. We got Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Vanessa Demopolis. And how I feel about this one is I'm going average confidence Vanessa Demopolis to beat Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I think Karolina's a solid fighter, but she's getting up there in age. She's been able to bounce back by beating two other older women in the weight class. Not older than her. Well, one was older than her. Silvana Gomez Juarez was older than her. I think her was around the same age as her, roughly. Maybe a little bit younger, a little bit older. Maybe same age, roughly around the same age. But, got a win over a fighter she already beat in the past. So she had that, had her number still in her phone still saved in her phone. And then Silvana Gomez Juarez was just up there in age and like pretty much one dimensional. So she was able to mix it up and beat her in that way. But Vanessa Demopolis is a little bit younger, like 4 years younger than Karolina Kowalkiewicz. 3 to 4 years younger than Kowalkiewicz. She's a grappler, and I have seen Kowalkiewicz, struggle with some of these younger grapplers. Or even another older. She lost Jessica Panay. That's a fighter. That's another older fighter in this weight class. But anyway, I think Demopolis is younger, and she might not be the most polished striker, but I think she'll have a little bit more dog in her, a little bit more fire in her stomach, a little bit more flames in her, and be able to just let it swing a little bit, and then be able to take advantage of of a scrappy situation. Like, y'all throwing shots, y'all get in the clinch, y'all missing shots in the inside, and you start falling into the clinch. I think Demopolis will do in that storm and be able to use that momentum, use these situations to create grappling situations. Then from there, I think she's able to dominate Kowalkiewicz. So probably like a real close first round, but I think Demopolis is able to shift it with a takedown and some work at the end of that round. In the second round, I think she's able to get her down easier, and I think she's able to just control her, dominate her, bust her up, and then tap her out in that second round. So in this one, I have Vanessa Demopolis via second round submission. Now to our next fight we have in the lightweight division. We got Maheshate versus Vyacheslav Borschev. So Maheshate versus Vyacheslav Borschev. I'm butchering the name like a mug right now, but it is what it is. Lightweight division, confidence level going, I forget, I think I went low, but average, why not? Vyacheslav Borschev versus Maheshate, average confidence, Vyacheslav Borschev to beat Maheshate. I think Maheshate has a good wealth of potential on him. He's a good young kid, only 23 years old, good frame for lightweight. Only gonna get bigger, probably at some point gonna be a welterweight, maybe even a middleweight, but it's gonna keep building upon those skills. But I think at this point, Vyacheslav Borschev, I'm liking more what I'm seeing from him. After actually going to train that Team Alpha Male, training with this wrestler, training with that wrestler, that's helping with his wrestling, and maybe even offensively, like defensively and also offensively. And we have seen that both these guys have struggled on the defensive end with grapplers. So Borschev, like he's putting the work to be better in his wrestling, both offensively and defensively. So that should help him in this fight, especially if it's a close fight. Then I think Borschev has a wealth of experience. He's not like he's a 35-year-old, 37-year-old. No shame in being 35 or nothing, but it's not like he's 30 years old. He's still a pretty young guy himself, still, just entering his prime. In my shot, they're like, 7 years from even entering his prime? Well, what you would perceive prime for most people. Because some people's prime be like 26, 27. So their prime come a little bit quicker, ends a little bit quicker. Some people's prime be like 20 years long. Like, dang, you had 20 years of prime. That's crazy. But typically MMA at the prime right now is like 30. So Borschev just entering his prime. I like that for him. I like his height, his reach and stuff, and his creativity. But I think Borschev is the more cleaner, more fundamental striker, does more with less. And ain't all about necessary flash, but he'll hit you clean to deliver, hit you with clean shots, set you up well, and hit you on the button, like hit it where it counts, I guess. So I like his experience here, like his age, like the fact that he's entering his prime, and Maheshate is still kind of Gerber baby age, and the fact that Borschev is looking to mix his skills up. So I'm gonna go with decision Borschev. I think Maheshate will be, tough enough to grind out, be able to make it to a decision, like hold his own on the feet well, defend some takedowns well, make it a scrappy fight, a war of attrition. But Borschev, again, this being more economical, you showing that experience of, being a fighter that has, accomplished a lot in the striking department, and has that 7-year more of experience, competing not just in MMA, but in other striking sports that, Maheshate doesn't have, or not to the same degree. So yeah, I'm trusting Borshev's age, or trusting his experience, and trusting his investments to his wrestling and overall skill set. So in this one, I have Vyacheslav Borschev via decision. Now to our next fight we have in our first fight on the main card in the lightweight division. We got Michael Johnson versus Diego Ferreira. And how I feel about this one right here, I'm going Michael Johnson. What am I talking about? Why am I talking like this? I'm going Michael Johnson to beat Diego Ferreira by, average confidence Michael Johnson. I don't know why I did low confidence, but a lot of these picks shifting from low to average on the full card prediction as opposed to the quick picks. But hey, it gives you a little bit of a different experience, doesn't it? So anyway, Michael Johnson, Diego Ferreira. Michael Johnson, average confidence. I feel like Diego Ferreira is kind of on a little bit of skid right now. I feel like Michael Johnson is on one of his little rally performance. He has had a long career, and he's had these skids he begging Dana White to keep him in the UFC. Then he goes on a winning streak. Then he goes on a skid. Then he goes on a winning streak. And I feel like he's on an upward trend right now. And stylistically wise, I'm liking this fight where both guys are at in their careers right now. I'm liking Michael Johnson as well here. Diego Ferreira is a solid fighter, solid BJJ, and should have a huge advantage if he could get it to the ground. Should be able to finish him if he could get it to the ground. But I feel the issue with Diego Ferreira is the fact that even though his striking and whatnot has improved, I feel like defensively it never really improved. I feel like he just kind of started to bite down his mouthpiece, take some shots to give some shots, then to get in on the inside, using his chin as a shield. Then he could drag you to the mat and tap you, or maybe start to touch you with some shots, wear you down with his chin. And it's not like he has the greatest chin either. Like he gets by. Like, what's that fight? I'm forgetting the name of the fight, but that one Russian dude who was at one point a little bit scary in this weight class, lightweight. But he really just tanked his shots a little bit. Was getting rocked and wild, but kept coming forward. And then it started to land on him and just wore him down until he was gassed. And then wore him down with his chin. Against Michael Johnson, a guy with much experience as he does have, I think that's going to be a bad look for him. I think Michael Johnson sparks him in the first round, trying to come in on the inside, probably low hands, eating shots on your chin, hoping that, you could survive and then drag him down and submit him. It's definitely on the table. A finish, in the distance, looking very juicy, looking very good here. But I think Michael Johnson gets him out in the first round. He's going to take advantage of Diego Ferreira coming forward, not really being defensive or, not really entering smartly or intelligently or technically, just kind of entering and just using his chin again as like a battering ram. I think Michael Johnson's going to meet his chin with his fist and knock him out first round. So in this one, I got Michael Johnson via first round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division, we got Andre Fiallo versus Joaquin Buckley, or Joaquin Buckley. I think that's what it is. Andre Fiallo versus Joaquin Buckley, going low confidence Joaquin Buckley to beat Andre Fiallo. I don't see why people are acting like Buckley's one of their favorite picks on this card. Like, if anything, the odds are disgustingly dumb and stupid and crazy, and like, why are the odds what they are? This should really be a coin flip. Like, I don't know why people are like, oh, why is he minus 200? I don't know what he is now. But last I checked, he was like minus 220. That's literally stupid. Like, literally stupid. Where's your confidence coming from? He's coming down to welterweight. And as I say in plenty of these videos, that's a bad trend. Like, typically the fighter cutting down, unless they're like far superior to the fighter they're fighting coming down, it's highly likely that they'll lose that fight. So even me leaning into Joaquin Buckley is kind of a bit stupid. But the fact that you're doing legit money on Joaquin Buckley, like, yeah, that's real legit stupid. It's not like Buckley is such a technical striker or such a technical wrestler. He's a good overall fighter, but we don't, it's a question mark as to how he's going to be at this weight class. Is he going to be drained out? His chin going to be worse? Is he going to be slower? He's not a super technical striker. He's not a super technical wrestler. It's not like he's a cardio fiend wrestler. Like, he can go for like 20 takedowns like Kobe Covington or something, or Rob Dvalishvili, or maybe Usman like 3-4 years ago. He's not that dude. But I am leaning to him because he is the more well-rounded fighter. And I feel like he can mix it up and maybe drag Fiallo out that first round and put him away in the second round. But not with a whole lot of confidence here, but I'm just basically going Joaquin Buckley because he is the more well-rounded fighter. And the guy who's going to be looking to do more and not just look to strike, whereas Fiallo is more so going to look to sprawl and brawl. That's all he's going to do. Whereas Buckley can look to mix it up. And then by mixing up, you open up opportunities. Now the guy defending a takedown, and then shots open up over top. I think Buckley will be able to find him, crack him, drag him to the mat, and finish him off second round. So in this one, I got Joaquin Buckley via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in a catchweight bout at 120 between Emily Dakoti versus Lupita Godines, or you could say Lupi Godines. And how I feel about this one right here is I'm going Lupita Godines, average confidence to beat Emily Dakoti. I just feel like Dakoti so far, as far as, I guess, what she's bringing to the UFC, bringing to the octagon, is a one-dimensional fight. I feel like she has decent jiu-jitsu off her back and, decent this, decent that. But as far as offensively, like taking the fighter down and work from there, her offensive wrestling ain't really nothing to even care about, really. Not really nothing to give it a second thought until she proved me otherwise. But going this one, I'm not really respecting her offensive wrestling. Defense, I respect it a little bit. Submissions off her back, respect it a little bit, but I feel like Godines is good enough to be able to, competent enough and solid enough on the ground to be able to thwart her subs, address her grappling off her back, be able to take her down and control her from top position without much issue of getting caught in any submission or defending any submission that Dakoti has in her arsenal. The only feel I feel like the striking is close enough. I feel like Dakoti is the cleaner, more technical striker, but I feel like Godines is composed enough on the feet that she should be able to, hold her ground with Dakoti on the feet, especially when she's mixing in takedowns as well. It's not just a case you can go out there and look to strike purely with Dakoti. And even if she did, it still would be a close fight. But the fact that you could add in the wrestling, that at least offensively on Godines' side, that Dakoti won't be bringing, she won't really be bringing offensive wrestling too much. So it's going to be like, Godines is going to be the one looking to mix it up, striking relatively close, but Godines getting her, getting over with her grappling. So close striking, probably leaning Dakoti a little bit, or Dakoti a little bit, but Godines pushing over with her wrestling, getting takedowns, getting minutes, winning minutes with her takedowns, working against the cage, and just, again, being a more well-rounded mixed martial artist and getting her hand raised over Emily Dakoti. Oh, I'm all butchering these names. I'm saying like Dakoti. Emily Dakoti. Yeah, a decision over Dakoti. So in this one, I have Lupita Godines via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in our co-main event in the middleweight division, Edmund Shabazz versus Anthony Hernandez. And how I feel about this one right here is I'm going Anthony Hernandez, average confidence, but hey, I was feeling low for a second there, but average confidence. Like, my quick pick is average. This pick average, no reason to drop anything below average. It was high at one point, but it's going to stick with average. It ain't dropping no low. It's average confidence. Anthony Hernandez to beat Edmund Shabazz. Yeah. And I'm going to say once again, like, why is there any bit of confidence coming in on Edmund Shabazz? I can say, Anthony Hernandez ain't that dude. He beat this guy. He beat that guy. He beat this guy who isn't this, who isn't that. But Edmund Shabazz not too far from the guys he beat, to be honest. Like, Shabazz got tooled for 3 fights in a row. Then he beat a bodybuilder. And now we like acting like his wrestling still ain't garbage, or at least has not yet been disproven to not be garbage. Like he didn't get his face pounded into the mat and look like a helpless orphan, getting beat up by some abusive foster parent, like in 3 fights in a row. Like we gonna act like that didn't happen. I feel like you look kind of almost legally stupid to lean to Edmund Shabazz, and like if it cashes, cool for you, but you still stupid for leaning to Shabazz. Like in my honest opinion, in my honest respecting you opinion, I feel like you're legit stupid for leaning to Edmund Shabazz. It's smart to lean to Hernandez, especially with these idiots kind of leaning to Shabazz now and hoping for a hole-in-one KO or something. But yeah, I just don't get it. But yeah, I just don't get it. Yeah, what he went on that is what it is. Like I'm gonna take. You could come in and drop your joke like, hey, he won. He knocked him out with a front crane kick. Like, what now? But I feel how I feel. Yeah, Shabazz has not addressed that wrestling grappling issue just yet in his career. He fought a bodybuilder in his last fight. Cool for him. He beat the bodybuilder how he was expected to beat the bodybuilder and how everybody else beat the bodybuilder. But yeah, this is his real test for me. So I think Hernandez should be able to drag him to the mat, probably extend him maybe beyond the first round. Should be able to have success with his takedowns. Also, the fact it's not going to hurt the fact that Hernandez can go for multiple takedowns. Not a guy that got like 3 takedowns in his gas tank. Like he go for 3 takedowns. That's all I got for the fight. You know, he's shown the ability to go for several takedowns and do what he needs to do to get his hand raised and not just be guy like again just have 1 round, 3 takedowns in a fight. Like that's the max takedowns to go for. Whether I get 3, whether I get 1 takedown of 3, 2 or 3, 3 or 3, or 0 or 3. That's all I got. He ain't that guy. So yeah, I'm talking about this one prediction too much. Anywho, I feel about this one. I think Hernandez should be able to drag him to the mat, and have success there. And I think he gets a second round submission over Shabazz and drags him out of the first round. Is able to finally secure some real dominant position in the second round. It starts to pound him out, wear him out, get Shabazz into turn to his stomach, and then takes his back, flattens him out, and chokes him out. Late second round. So in this one, I have Anthony Hernandez via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's strawweight division in our main event between Mackenzie Dern versus Angela Hill. And how I feel about this one right here is I'm going Mackenzie Dern, average confidence. And this might be one of the quicker predictions on this card for me, and it's the main event. But Angela Hill is like 0-15 versus the top 15 fighters. I'm exaggerating, but it's not too far off. Like she's like 0-10 versus the top 15 fighters, and just add yet another top 15 loss to her resume. Like, whether it be close or whether she clearly loses, it's like she has yet to overcome this hump, and it's like she's 38. It's not like she's 30 years old. And even at 30 or even at 25, that would be a bad sign. Like maybe she at 25, she like, let me sit out 5 years and let the top 15 readjust and let me do some side quests or whatnot and come back, and now I'm the more experienced fighter, and I'm just like added some new wrinkles. I want some BJJ tournaments, want some more kickboxing tournaments. Now I'm back. I'm 30 and whatnot. And the division has moved on. Like, people are like, the older people have retired. There's these new people here. Maybe there's some younger people I beat in the past and whatnot. Now it's a better scope for me. But she's 38, and that's even a worse sign. I just feel like there's a good opportunity for her. But again, is it really a good opportunity when she has failed every single time? How many more chances do you need? It's usually it's third time the charm, but you on like number 11 right here. So like, I don't think it works that way. Like I said, it's a good stylistic matchup in a way for her. The 5 rounds doesn't help because, gives her more opportunities for Dern to end up on top of her and tap her out. But yeah, Dern has one of the worst offensive takedown rates in all of MMA. And Angela Hill should be able to stop some of her takedowns. But again, I think Dern's going to be relentless. She's going to be out there scrapping. She's going to be out there swinging. And I think eventually at some point she'll be able to get Angela Hill to the mat. And I think once she get on the mat, I think she'll at least get one takedown, at least one time where she's on top. And I think she'll be able to have good success. But either way, I'm like saying, whether it be 1 takedown, 2 takedown, I think at some point she will get her to the mat. Whether it be once or twice. But I think at some point, and I think it's in the 3rd round when she's able to get Angela Hill out of there, and I think it's going to be like a 3rd round sub for Mackenzie Dern. I think it'll be a scrappy fight. Hill being the more technical fighter, but Dern just out there, eating the punches on the chin, taking advantage of the fact that Hill ain't got no power. And then making a scrappy fight, going for takedowns, giving her all. Then the opportunity presents itself. She gets it to the mat. And from there, she starts slicing through Hill like butter and gets her out of there 3rd round. So in this one, I have Mackenzie Dern via 3rd round submission. Let me say that again. In this one, I have Mackenzie Dern via 3rd round submission. And that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Hill. And as always, thanks for watching.